Kit Gow. Hello.
Hello.
Kit, why are we here today at Peffermill?
Well, this is a celebration of 75 years since the 1975 tournament. That was the first time that there was a competition, a world championship, with an ultimate winner. And that's why we're here today, to just share memories and talk about the times that we had in 1975.
So, what was the tournament? What was the link between the tournament and the current World Cup that we have in hockey?
Well, there were 34 members of the International Federation of Hockey Associations, and of the 34 members, 22 teams came to Scotland to play in this World Championship. And the Royal Bank of Scotland gave a quaich to be presented to the ultimate winners.
Like a trophy?
A trophy, yes. And that's the first time there was a trophy played for. And it was won by England, who played Wales in the final. But there were dozens of matches. There were maybe 5 or 6 matches each day. The opening match was played at Meadowbank, but Peffermill here was the site of most of the matches that were played.
Now, we're here today specifically because there was a test match between Scottish ladies and the French ladies.
Yes.
What do you think of the game today?
Well, very different from the game that we played. Of course, the artificial surface makes the game so much slicker and so much quicker, and I would have loved to have played on that surface. The best surface that I ever played on was at Old Trafford. We had a tournament on the cricket ground in Manchester at Old Trafford, where the pitch was like a bowling green. It was absolutely beautiful to play on, and I would have loved to have played on this type of surface.
That's the thing, isn't it? I speak to more experienced players who grew up from grass, and they're saying, well, when grass was bad, it was bad, but when it was good, it was actually quite fast.
Oh, very fast and very, very nice to play on, and very satisfying to play on. And our ball skills were equally as good, I think, as what we saw today, although the girls will sleep tonight. They'll be very tired after their game. I found that I could see I wanted them to be passing the ball out to their wings. I wanted the wings to be taking the ball down the field and crossing. Scotland had many chances which they didn't convert, and I felt that perhaps they were, I don't know, hindered is actually the word, but I think the focus should perhaps have been more on getting the ball into the back of the net. Although the French goalkeeper had some very fine saves.
Now, back to the tournament, the World Tournament we had, a bit of a precursor to what is now the World Cup, that was hosted here 50 years ago.
Yeah.
What was your involvement? What are your memories?
Well, I was a member of Central District at that time, and my memories of coming up the motorway to Edinburgh week after week after week to attend these committee meetings, which were very interesting. We had the Eileen Hyman, who was the international president of the Federation, and from Edinburgh, and also Jean Calder, who was the Scottish president. She was also from Edinburgh. So all of our meetings were held in Edinburgh, and I suppose it was very east orientated, but every single district raised money and did things to help make the tournament such a success. My memories are that I gave up my cousin's wedding because it happened to be the first day of the tournament, and I felt if anything was going to go wrong, then I had to be here because my involvement was the technical side of things here at Peffermill.
Were you the head of the technical delegate, were you?
Yes, I was, which was really interesting, but I wasn't alone. There were all these other volunteers. We were all volunteers, so it was really, really very good.
So what went into the technical side of delegation there?
Well, as I told you about the scoreboards, my biggest challenge was how I was going to let the spectators know what was going on and the scores of the games that were played. And in my head, I decided if we could find something that was like the scoreboards that they use at the Open Golf competition, then that would be ideal. So I went to St Andrews, to the R&A headquarters, to meet with Mr Mackenzie, who agreed with me that this would be a good idea. And I was delighted with that. And not only did he agree, they transported the scoreboards all free of charge, which was absolutely fantastic and a great solving of a problem for us. The other thing we did then was encouraged players from Central District who wore tartan tabards, and they climbed up on these scoreboards and put up all the letters of all the teams and the results, and that was a great success. I had to see that the balls were all ready in place and things were ready to be set out for each game, but there were lots of people involved, and I only had to make the decision about what happened, and other people carried out the work. Of course, there were a huge number of aspects to the tournament, everything from the opening and closing ceremonies, the church service, the hospitality, the people being at Pollock Halls. There were just dozens and dozens of things to be organised, and that's what we did. Week by week we shared out the responsibilities, and somehow or another it all got done, and it was an incredible success at the end of the day. But not only did we have the tournament here, after the tournament quite a few of the teams stayed in Scotland, and they went to visit different districts and had home hospitality and played against district teams. So when my involvement here at Peffermill was finished, I had to go home to Central District and organise my home to accept, and we had New Zealand visitors who came and stayed with us, and we played against New Zealand in our district, which was lovely. And New Zealand went from Central up to the North, to North District, and played a game there. And there were other countries who similarly moved around Scotland after the tournament.
Kit Gow, thank you so much.
Okay. I don't know if there's any of that you can use.
Teo McLeod, producer of the Half Court Press podcast, has published a book via Amazon. A Little Book About Hockey is now available from the Amazon website.